You wire up a state-of-the-art streaming box to a flagship display, power everything on, ensure the cables are seated perfectly, and you get a blank screen.
Oh man, that is the ultimate AV nightmare right there.
It really is. So today's deep dive is pulling from HDTVSupply a massive catalog. I mean, they have a 25-year history of AV gear to isolate one highly specific piece of hardware that solves this exact problem.
Yeah, it's the Javelin JAV-ETU-H1311-HD Etude Sync EDID Emulator.
Which is a tiny box with a very long name.
Exactly.
But it targets one of the most stubborn and really invisible issues in custom installations, which is HDMI source and sync compatibility. Basically, when your premium gear just absolutely refuses to communicate.
Well, this is the device you drop right into the signal chain when that happens.
Okay, let's unpack this. I kind of picture this blank screen scenario as like two stubborn diplomats sitting across a negotiation table.
Well, that's a good way to look at it.
You've got the source and the display, and they both have critical data to share, but neither speaks the other's language. So the negotiations just stall, and you get absolutely no video.
What's fascinating here is that analogy captures the problem perfectly, especially when we look at how these devices actually try to negotiate.
Right.
To fix that blank screen, the Javelin basically acts as the translator by actively managing two specific protocols. That's EDI emulation and hot plug detect.
Okay, so let's break down the mechanics there. If the source and the sync are our two diplomats, how is the Javelin actually facilitating this treaty?
Well, it starts with the ED. So normally, a display sends an EDI data packet back to the source.
Okay.
You can think of it as a detailed menu that tells the source exactly what resolutions, frame rates, and audio formats the display can actually process.
Oh, I see. So it's listing out its capability.
Exactly. But if that menu gets corrupted on its way down a long cable run, or if a physical connection wavers even a little bit, the source just panics.
And then it halts the video output.
Yep, blank screen.
So the Javelin prevents that panic by caching the EDID. Like, it memorizes the menu and permanently holds it up for the source to read.
Yes, regardless of what the actual display downstream is doing, it provides this constant, stable profile.
Oh.
And then you have the hot plug detect, or HPD. This is the electrical signal that tells the source a display is physically connected and ready to go.
Okay, so it's monitoring that connection.
Right. The Javelin actively monitors that voltage. If a faulty connection or a physical cable drop causes the signal integrity to waver, the Javelin steps in immediately.
So it's not just a passive bridge, it's actively forcing a stable HPD signal to keep the source outputting video.
Exactly. It's correcting signal integrity issues on the fly.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because putting an active processor right in the middle of a high bandwidth signal chain, I mean, that raises a major red flag for me.
Sure, yeah, I can see why.
Because we're talking about massive amounts of data in a modern AV setup. Doesn't introducing a middleman to actively manage voltage and emulate data inherently downgrade the video quality or bottleneck the pipeline?
Well, if it were poorly engineered, you would absolutely introduce latency or throttle the bandwidth. But looking at the source specs, the Javelin completely dismantles that concern.
Really? How so?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it is part of the comprehensive Etlona 4K HDR integration family, meaning it is designed specifically to process these handshake protocols without ever choking the video feed.
Because looking at these specs, it says it handles 18 gigabits per second.
Yep, full bandwidth.
Supporting 4K and UHD video at 60 Hz with 4.4.4 chroma sampling. Plus, it is fully compliant with HDCP 2.2 and HDR formats.
It's a lot of data.
Yeah, passing all of that heavy-duty data while actively analyzing the signal integrity, it just seems like it would cause some sort of processing delay.
The key here is how it actually handles the data streams. The active processing is focused entirely on the communication layer, the ED and the HPD.
Oh, I see.
The actual high-speed video lanes carrying those 18 gigabits of 4.4.4 HDR video, they are passed through completely unaltered.
So it's not decoding and re-encoding the video itself?
Not at all. It is simply maintaining a flawless handshake infrastructure around the video so that massive data stream just flows without a single dropped frame or loss in visual fidelity.
Wow, that distinction is really crucial. It's basically managing the traffic lights, not driving the trucks.
That is a great way to put it, yeah.
So what does this all mean? Basically, for anyone dealing with a notoriously finicky display or just complex routing, this emulator boils down to being the ultimate invisible cure for a broken signal chain.
It really does. It does all the heavy lifting completely out of sight.
Yeah.
And, looking at the sheer capability of a device like this, it really makes you reevaluate the rest of our digital infrastructure.
How do you mean?
Well, think about it. If this one small, dedicated emulator has to invisibly process 18 GBPs of data and correct voltage drops on the fly just to make a standard TV work, how many other hidden digital translators are silently fixing the communication gaps in our daily technology environments without us ever noticing?
That is wild to think about. An entire ecosystem of invisible diplomats negotiating in the background so we never have to stare at a blank screen.
Exactly.
It certainly reframes what it takes to make our tech actually feel plug and play.